Welcome to Thez Nutz Garage, and today we're going to be working on this here 1994 F-150, and as you can tell, it's kind of had a rough day. And what we're going to be doing is pulling the motor out of this one, and we're going to be sticking it in our $300 F-150 that we have affectionately named Rodney. So, and that's because it has a Rodney Knox, so we shortened it to Rodney. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you around this truck, show you what's wrong with it, and why it's no longer roadworthy.
You should show them what ain't wrong with it.
We'll show them what's not wrong with it. Alrighty, if there's some wind noise, I apologize, but it's kind of windy. Alright, so as you can tell, the cab back here, this side's pretty good. It's got a good door on it. It's like you could park a Mack truck in that hole. There's the wannabe Vanna White. So this side of the truck is pretty good. Got some good rims on it. Tailgate's good. Bumper looks good. Holy sweet baby Jesus. So this truck, as you can tell, was T-boned pretty hard, and that's why it's no longer roadworthy. The frame's been on it. Of course, this side of the bed is shot, so that fender's shot. So, but the engine is good in it, and that's all we're here to get is the engine. And the truck has about 144,000 miles on it. It's got a 302 in it, just like my truck at home. So we're going to take this hood off and start pulling this engine out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up, let it run for about 5 minutes, kind of warm up the engine, and then also just to check, make sure I don't hear any funny noises before I pull it. And then what that'll do is it'll heat some of the metal up, so when I start undoing the bolts, it'll make it hopefully a little bit easier to do. But the way I have to pull this engine is out here on the ground, so I brought some boards and stuff to try to help with that. And that's the whole side of that truck just caved in. You ready, Vanna? All right, so here's the engine. Yesterday we pulled it out with the help of my lovely wife over there.
Pulled it out.
That's what she said. Anyway, so I did clean it up this morning. Try to clean up the valve covers and all that stuff and get a little bit of the grease off of it. So I'm gonna sit this in my garage for the next week till I can tear off the front of it and get ready to put it in old Rodney over there. Went to Harbor Freight to get a freaking engine stand in Jackson, Tennessee, and of course they didn't have one in stock. Lousy customer service at that store. So if you're at a Harbor Freight in Jackson, Tennessee, don't bother, just go to Milan. It'll be a lot better. My wife's over there playing with the noodle. Anyway, so yesterday, I guess what it took about 5-6 hours to pull this motor out of this truck. And probably one of the biggest problems I had was these fuel fittings right here. They take a special tool to get them out, so didn't have the tool, had to wait till the guy that owned the truck got back home, and just cut the steel fuel lines with some bolt cutters. So that's the engine. The next video will be me probably of taking the front of the engine off, getting it prepared to go into Rodney over here. Alright, so that's going to be the conclusion of this video, and basically what this video is an introduction for this engine and this series on this engine for the channel. Now, the first part of this series will be about the regular guy who doesn't have a ton of money to spend, and maybe he's got 400 bucks, but he's got to get to work on Monday, or it's going to be a long weekend and he's got time to go pull this engine like we did, come home, pull his engine out of his truck and do an engine swap. Or you just go buy an engine from a junkyard, have them swap, you swap the engine out over a long weekend. Now, being that we bought this engine, we have a bunch of extra parts. So we have like an extra alternator water pump, a power steering pump, our AC compressor on our truck. We're not going to break the system loose. We're going to keep all that contained. So we'll be using the AC compressor on Rodney there. But when you have multiple parts, extra parts like that, maybe you just pick the best set of parts that you're gonna put back on the truck. Now they're not gonna last forever, but hey, if you only got a certain amount of money in your pocket and you gotta get to work, you gotta do what you gotta do. Now we will be putting a video series on this engine where we put it on an engine stand and replace some of the gaskets, get it cleaned up to throw in the truck. And usually I think a gasket set, I looked last night, for about 50 bucks. Gets quite a bit of the parts, and you can kind of do that still underneath under the budget. Now the second series on this engine will probably be in several different parts, because we're going to have Cleveland Ford, who is the gentleman who will be rebuilding the engine in the 78 F350, building a 302 from disassembling it to reassembling it, rebuilding it, all in his garage. Now that's going to be a situation where your engine is in really good shape and you can rebuild it without having to go to a machine shop, and it'll last you many, many years. Then the third part will be where we actually take the engine that's coming out of Rodney, break it down, tear it down, see what went wrong with it, and see how much damage has been done, and see if that engine is worth rebuilding in the future. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, or if there's any salvageable parts still left on it. So that's going to be the, I'll say, the series on the F-150 at the moment. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button. That helps YouTube algorithm put us up where somebody's searching how to rebuild these engines. They can do that. Also, comment down below if you've ever done this in your garage, or did an engine swap, anything like that, or any projects that you're working on. If you have a question about that, what we'll be doing in the future on it, just comment that down below. And then subscribe to the channel. I think we are over 500 subscribers, and we're not as big as some of these big channels, but we're growing every day. And I appreciate everybody who has subscribed to the channel. And the more people that subscribe, the more things that we can do, bigger, better things. But until we get more subscribers, it means we're still trying to do the smaller things. So I guess that's all of the video we got today. And I got to get ready to start working on this engine. So y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video.